Okay, so today we have Samantha Roldan, and today we're talking about taking things to the extreme. So some of y'all may be wondering, what in the world are we talking about today?
We're gonna have some fun with that one.
So I've seen some posts, and one lady, I think she's an advocate about this. So some people take things to the extreme. What I mean by that is like this: some people get like to compete, and they want to win a pro card. They're not a pro yet, but they want to win a pro card, and they got critiques from judges. So they feel in order way to be competitive and to win as an athlete, they have to get stuff like augmentations, like breast implants. There's been one guy, he's not an athlete, but he's an actor. There's a documentary, and he had ab work done. He said it was the most painful thing, and he had complications. He said if he could do it all over again, he'd rather just work hard at it and do diet and get his abs versus going to the way he went through surgery and to make his abs look good for the show. Right. So the lady who's an advocate, she had breast augmentation done, and she had complications. She's an advocate now. She said that she's an athlete competing to get her pro card. She's trying to get nationals, didn't get a pro card. And she said she had so many problems, and she's trying to speak up to ladies to let them know about this. So the thing is, when we take things to the extreme, because even if you get stuff like that done, it's not guaranteed you get a pro card. So when's enough?
I will say this. My opinion on that period is that you should never undergo surgery to achieve a pro card in bodybuilding. It's not worth it. There's other reasons, personal reasons that you can undergo surgery. So for me, that wouldn't be worth it. That's my opinion. Now, to some people, it may matter enough to feel that that's a necessity, but nowhere in the rule book does it say that a woman needs breast implants in order to win a pro card in bodybuilding, period. Now, bodybuilding is obviously very subjective, and you are trying to achieve a symmetrical figure or a symmetrical physique. So for certain women, it could add to the balance. Now, we have professionals across the board that do not have breast implants. So I feel that is more of an opinion than a fact. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are a lot of professionals, including myself, that have undergone surgery not to compete, but just happen to have, breast implants or an augmentation. And, we have them. For me, I do feel like it adds to the balance. I'm a very tall woman. I am very wide in the shoulders and back area. And, personally, I was built more like Cameron Diaz growing up, where I was very athletic, very kind of flat chested. And this was a decision that I made 9 years before I ever entered the bodybuilding world. So I would discourage anybody to get a breast augmentation in order to achieve a pro card or to be more competitive in bodybuilding. Now, if you are going to go, take on surgery for personal reasons, either to feel more confident or maybe because this is an area that you can't, for women specifically, I'm talking about breast implants. This is an area that you can't go into the gym and, bang out a bunch of reps and then grow this area to be feminine and round and voluptuous and all the things that we want as women. So, there's my opinion on plastic surgery, to be completely honest, is anything that I can't go to the gym and work for myself, I feel is okay to seek out, maybe plastic surgery, for example, breast implants. Like, you can't do that. Now, a rear end is different to me. You can squat, you can, do hip thrusts, you can eat all these things to grow over the course of time. And if you're patient, you put in the work and the time, you will develop shapely legs and glutes and these things. So that's my opinion on it. So it makes me sad that this person felt that they had to undergo it to be competitive. I disagree that it is a requirement. I do understand that it seems to be the trend. And if you look at the majority of, like, let's say in the IFBB, the top, female bikini competitors, let's just say the majority of them, if not all, do have breast implants. And I think that that just attributes to the shape and symmetry. And it is also a trend, I live in California.
Mm-hmm.
It's very popular and very widely accepted here. It's people don't even really bat an eye at it. That's my opinion on it. So,
well, in the future we'll get a medical perspective on it. But the thing is, like, if you get, like, say you get a breast implant, you don't win. Then you try to do it again, get another breast implant, and you don't win. Then you try to get some more work, don't win. When's enough? Because as an athlete, from what I remember, one bodybuilder, IFBB pro said, he said, you should be satisfied with your way you look. Even when the judges critique you, whatever, you should be able to walk away and say, well, I did the best I could. So the thing is, when's enough considered enough? Because some people might keep going, and after a while, it could be a toll on your body.
I think that you have to look into other issues at that point, right? Enough is enough when you make the decision, period, to go under the knife for a reason of trying to win a competition. I think that is the first red flag as to you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Now, there's, a sense of, and I'm no medical expert when it comes to this specific topic, but I would argue, like, body dysmorphia, things like this idea in your head that you're never satisfied and that you need to please others in order to feel adequate in your appearance. And that, I feel, is more of a therapy issue than a plastic surgery issue, in my personal opinion. So there are people that are always going to push the limits, take it to the extreme, especially with plastic surgery. One of my favorite shows, and I will binge watch it, is a show called Botched, where you see a lot of this example. It's on E, and it follows a few doctors out here in California and Beverly Hills, and it shows a lot of people that, for whatever reason, have had some extreme surgeries, and some of them will push their limits. That's when it comes into, hoping that you have enough people around you, maybe not close to you, but even the surgeons themselves, that will say enough is enough. And that's when you need to choose the right surgeon. You need to make sure that you're going to somebody that's competent, not only in their profession, but ethically as well, that they're going to take the time to say, like, look, no, what is the reason for the surgery? There was no medical reason. You're not in any physical pain. There's nothing wrong with this surgery job to where you need to push the limits and go bigger, especially if you're saying you do it so quickly, right? Like, oh, I didn't win this year, so I'm going to undergo surgery again, put my body under all that stress, all the recovery, only to try to then have a better turnout next time. Well, I would argue that all that recovery time that you need post-surgery should be spent towards maybe working on the other weak areas, For example, the guy that you were talking about with his abs, you could definitely build abs instead of undergoing surgery in the time it would recover, or time that it would take to recover from that. So.
Yeah, he said that was very painful, and he was going through complications. So he said if he could do it all over again, he'd rather just work for it.
Great, 100%.
But yeah. Well, that's it for this segment. And as you can catch us the next show in about a couple minutes. We have Showtime Keith.
I wanted to actually touch on an issue if you have a minute, because I do have to say this when it comes to surgery. And this is just something that I feel very strongly about because I've seen it, especially with young athletes. And I've had the experience of talking to women myself. So I'm just going to public service announcement this out there, is that anytime that you're going to undergo surgery, make sure that you're going to a board certified plastic surgeon. That's huge. So another time you're saying people are, having these surgeries and they're not happy with the end result. Well, there's a lot of things, and maybe those complications that person went through, whether male, female, whatever the plastic surgery is, it may not have been that the procedure itself was dangerous or inappropriate. It may have been the professional doing it. So If there's one takeaway from this, I would say, please, if you're going to undergo any type of surgery, make sure that they are board certified. You do your research, you find somebody that you're comfortable with, and they understand your personal goals. Because like I said, ethically, if you go to them and say, I want breast implants to win bodybuilding competitions, and then a year later you say, I want a different set because I didn't win, if you're with the right surgeon, they're going to look at you and say, no, I will not perform the surgery, So that's my opinion. Thanks, Ernest. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you were trying to sign off there, but that was very important for me to say.
No, you're right. Because you brought up a point. I seen a post. Ladies ask, who's the surgeon's name, and they try to do reviews on them. And like you said, look for a board certified one. They look at the reputation, the reviews, the work they've done in the past. Because you don't want to go to somebody and then you go 5-6 times and you keep going and they just out for the money versus looking out for your best interest.
If you have a good surgeon, they're going to be very transparent about the expectation for recovery. They're going to be very open with the work that they've done. My surgeon, I'm very blessed to have a great plastic surgeon that I trust, that I would send my friends to, my family to, and have recommended them. And you can find him on Instagram. Social media is great when it comes to this. Not only are you going to see pictures, but that's about as open and transparent as you can be, because people that have gone to you, whether it's good or bad, are going to have no problem posting comments on your page, reaching out to your followers. They're going to say, hey, he was amazing. I know personally I've had women contact me off of his page and say, hey, I'm thinking about having surgery with Dr. Kelashadi. Can you please give me, some insight on your experience? And I'm telling you, this man literally called me every single day for a week, not his assistant, not his office manager, him, to check on my recovery. I had all of my, post-op routines set and understood before I even went under surgery. So there are people, surgeons specifically, that are going to go above and beyond to make sure that they are giving you a top tier experience and a surgery. So that's the biggest thing. Don't go for the cheaper route. You, like anything in life, you get what you pay for, and if we go on the subject of going to other countries and all these things, that's not me saying that there aren't board certified surgeons in other countries. I'm just saying you don't want to try and get, a discount job on anything, because the likelihood of you being unhappy is going to be a lot higher than if you take the time to prepare yourself, both financially, mentally, all of these things. And a good surgeon's going to prepare you mentally what to expect afterwards, because they don't look perfect initially. There's a process before stuff kind of settles and heals. So that's really important too.
Now, for somebody who's looking to get something like that done, what's the average cost to get something like that done?
Varies.
Like that?
That definitely varies. It varies on the demographic, the area, the state. Even what would consider like a basic breast augmentation in California. 15 years ago when I first did it was maybe $5-6 grand, closer to $8. Now, just a basic breast augmentation in California, you're looking at like anywhere between 9 to 10. Even up to 13. And that's just, I'm filling with volume, whatever the implant is right now. You go into things like reconstruction, lifts, there's new technology like internal bras, things like this. Things get a lot more complicated and a lot more expensive. So that's where you really have to talk about or talk to your surgeon about what is needed to achieve the look that you're going for. And, have just a very clear communication onto what you're willing to spend. Now, if that's not something you compromise on, if your doctor says you need this to achieve this, you can't say, well, I don't want to spend that, so I'm just going to go with this, because ultimately you're setting both of you up for failure. You're not going to be happy with the end result, and they're not going to be happy with, providing a service that they knew maybe should have or could have been better. And that's where, like I said, the ethical standard comes into play, because surgeons should turn you away if it's their name on your surgery as well. So they can vary. They can be very expensive. Now, surgery cost in California or New York, even Florida, is going to be different from a surgery cost maybe in the Midwest or some of the states where it's not as there isn't as much of a demand for it, we'll say. So it really just depends on where you're at, but it can get up there. If you see a deal for, if you hear it on the radio, $3,000 breast augmentation, I would not go there. That's just what I'm saying. Surgeons that are you know, worth going to. We're not going to be advertising like that. They do a lot of things that they're very transparent about. They're going to have all of their credentials listed on their website. It's going to be very professional. They're going to have before and afters, a way of contacting them, multiple consultations. They're going to be very transparent about their work. So like I said, you get what you pay for, and it's worth spending the dollar to make sure that you're happy, because it is your body. It's your presentation. You wake up every day to whatever it is, whether it's abs, glutes, a breast augmentation, a nose job, it's your face. That's what you show the world, and you have to be happy and confident in yourself,
Nice. Okay, so that was Samantha Roldan, and now check us in a few minutes.
Talk taxes, Keith.
We have Showtime Key talking about finances
Awesome.
for
Thank you,
athletes.
Ernest. I
So
appreciate
see you at 1
it.
o'clock.
All right.
Are you welcome? Thanks. You're welcome.